This podcast contains real stories, adult language, and occasional chaos. Some content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised, especially if you're easily offended, overly nostalgic, or still living in a dorm.
Welcome to another episode of the Dorm Disorder Podcast. Before we get started, let's not forget, subscribe, like, follow, share this out to your family and your friends. Anybody that you know that went to a boarding school. And the mailbag is open, dormdisorder@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your stories. We want to make this grow and continue to be something important and a space not just for Girard people, as we'll find out today, but for all boarding schools. So, of course, I am here again with my co-host.
What's cracking, everybody? Dan, 9-4.
And we have a very special guest, our very own melanated Milt, Alexandra Cruz, director of the GCAA, is here to join us to not only talk about the GCAA and Girard stuff, but what we really want to get into is what these Milts, the kids of Milton Hershey, have going on. Welcome today, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I feel like I need to say class of 2007.
Well, you know, it's okay to be young. That's good. We need some youth on this show. We already know we're ancient.
Yep. Old as hell.
So if you were a Girardian, we would ask you this question, but you're a Milt, and we're going to ask you the same question. How is it that you ended up at boarding school?
I guess interesting story, but also the same as most. Single mother, she had me at 16, had her third child at 19. So we were pretty poor, very much displaced, often homeless, lived in a shelter for a little bit of time, and most of our lives moved and bounced around with family members and sometimes split between family members because I couldn't take all of us. But my mom was working a job fair, and a very, very old man had a table for Milton Hershey School. And it turned out he was just an alum from like 80 years ago, like just honestly super old man. And he loved Hershey so much that he volunteered to do job fairs and stuff. So he wasn't even like working with the school. He just got like pamphlets and stuff. And my mom saw it while she was walking around at the job fair, brought us these like pamphlets. And if you know anything about Hershey, you know everything there is like big and rich and expensive. And so we saw these and we're like, yeah, I wanna go there. That's a building made of marble. Like, right. That's cool. So yeah, I want to say, I think I was 8 or 9 when we applied. But then there was a freeze on enrollment for like a year.
Okay.
Because they were busy building new houses because the enrollment was just growing too fast.
Okay.
So I started in 6th grade when I was 11, and my siblings started when they were 8 in the 3rd grade.
Okay. How many total siblings you have that went to Hershey and not went to Hershey?
So 3 of us went to Hershey, 2 graduated, and 1 dropped out.
Okay. It's not bad. It's still bad in 66.
Right.
It's not too bad.
Building houses. She was
building
houses.
Building houses, yes.
Houses.
So, you know, that's actually a perfect segue. We have our Hogwarts houses, Allen, Bordeaux, Merchant, Mariner, Banker, and what I just learned is called the Hum. You had way more Hogwarty houses. Not necessarily names, but, you know, we'll get into Slave Brook. But go ahead and tell us about how your residential life was structured.
Okay. Well, first of all, our houses did have names, every single house.
Oh, yeah. All right.
And they were labeled, so, you know.
But you're not wearing that T-shirt. You're just a milkman. Okay.
But yeah, our living situation, so it actually changed while I was there. And I think it might be a little bit different now. But when I first started, the houses were mixed ages. So Milton Hershey starts in pre-K. And so pre-K to 12, some of the houses were like kindergarten to fifth grade. Some were 6 to 12. Some were K to 8. So when me and my sibling first started, we went to a K to 8 house.
Okay.
And I think they tried to keep the pre-K and kindergartners separate for the most part. It's not like a class of 50 of pre-K. You know, it's probably like 10 to 12 kids. It might be more now, but they tried to keep them in houses with smaller numbers, so like 6 to 8 children in the house. Whereas with us, it was anywhere from 12 to 13. And we had one roommate, except for one room of 3 people. Yeah, we had one roommate.
One.
Mm-hmm.
Sixth grade, 11 years old. One. I had 30 roommates at 11.
So, yeah, all the houses were set up differently depending on what decade they were built in. So some of the homes had full-size gym, like basketball courts in them. Yeah.
Just say that one more time. I don't think that even sunk in right. You had what?
Yeah, some had full-size like basketball courts inside of them. Like one floor was the basketball court.
Wow.
One floor was
One floor.
Yeah. So I didn't ever live in like one of the basketball court homes, but yeah, depending on the era they were built, was kind of how they differentiated them. So like the 2000s homes were all one floor. But the older homes tended to be multiple floors. Okay. With like the shower room and the mud room downstairs and multiple living rooms.
Yeah, go ahead and ask, Dan. Go ahead and ask. Yeah,
What,
she meant the shower room, so
shower
go
room?
ahead.
Listen. This has been going on all season. So I guess I'll ask, like, was it group showers or was it a little more private than that?
It was definitely not as traumatizing as your experience. In the one house that I lived in, we had like one shower space, but it was separated by stalls, and we had curtains on every stall, so like privacy. But then in the 2000s homes, they all there were multiple bathrooms. So like multiple bathrooms with showers, whereas the other homes were like a full shower room with bathroom stalls, but then there's also like another bathroom on a different floor. Okay. You know,
extra
options.
bathrooms and everything.
But yeah, with the 2000s homes, we had like separate bathrooms in the different. This is gonna sound crazy. The different wings. So
I mean, we had wings, sort of.
Let's say
so
that.
you know, I guess
with those, it was like one shower and one toilet in each of those bathrooms.
Okay.
So you didn't have to walk over and get shampoo poured in your hand and then walk back to your, to your shower?
Absolutely not.
Oh, that is so... Yeah. So I should mention early on, I applied to Hershey and I was rejected. And when we prepped for this, I felt terrible for being rejected from Hershey now. I didn't feel any kind of way 30 some odd years ago, I guess almost 40 years ago, but now I do. Why don't you go ahead and tell us how that home life was built when you had your house parents and your residential life? What was that like?
It was tough, but it was major, I think, for all of us that were seeking true parental guidance and like security.
Yeah. But so you had true parents.
So we had a set of house parents that they had to have been married for 5 years before they could work at Hershey. And when I first started, I think they were allowed to have as many kids as they wanted, but as time went on, they were only allowed to have 2 children of their own, or 2 dependents, because obviously if they had like an older child, that didn't count against them. Right. But with the intention that they're focusing on us, who all come from like trauma backgrounds. And so they had to have bachelor's degrees. They provided like a family environment for us. Some kids felt so comfortable as to call them like mom and pop. Most of us said like Mr. and Mrs. whatever. By the time I finished at Hershey, I started calling the house mother that I had the longest, like Mama Akins. Okay. So like that, she's a mom for real to me. But Yeah, it was that kind of a situation. Some house parents could cook, some couldn't. Um, so they actually only got relief every other weekend. And so we did have an assigned relief house parents as
I
well.
was going to ask that.
Yeah, so they were the same ones every other weekend. And every now and again, they were like obviously not nearly as stable because if they had other jobs. So there was a lot of like emergency relief at the school who
Okay.
could come in. Emergency relief didn't have the same kind of restrictions though, because they were only there for 2 days.
Right.
And they had like when I first started, they actually had the opportunity where like best friends could be relief house parents.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the setup of the house, there's a full size 3-bedroom apartment. Which is our house parents' apartment, and that's like an entirely full apartment. They have a door that shuts and locks, so when they're off duty, they're off duty.
A lot like Gerard house parents. That is at least one corollary.
Yeah. And then our relief house parents had a much smaller apartment that was just a bedroom and a bathroom, I think.
Okay.
And then they used like the regular kitchen with us for all their food because they were just there again for 2 days. But they were usually pretty stable though. I'd say like I didn't go through a million relief house parents while I was there.
Okay. So, but you kind of touched on this. Some house parents could cook and some couldn't. Why was that important?
Yes. So, honestly, I think it's like it's so similar to like what I imagine normal kids had an experience like, where like not us boarding school kids, where sometimes people's parents are great cooks, sometimes they're not.
But the house parents are doing your cooking for
So it depended. It really depended.
Yeah.
So my senior year, I had a set of house parents who our house father was an amazing cook and he loved to cook. He would often pull us in with him to help him. Like, I'm not about to cook for all of y'all. Y'all better get in here and help.
Okay.
But he did like to cook. I had other house parents who hated to cook. And they were just like, y'all can do the basic stuff so you can cook dinner, you can cook breakfast. Breakfast was almost always cooked by the students.
Okay.
But if you were in a home where you couldn't cook and the students also couldn't cook, we had meal buses.
Meal buses.
That would deliver full meals and like sides, mains, all the things. And they drove all over campus every single day for dinner. You would just put your order in like the day before, the house parents, and they could use it if they wanted, or they didn't have to if they wanted to prepare their own food. And the meal bus also dropped off like other types of food, like like breakfast foods or whatever it was. But yeah, predominantly like they do like pretty major meals. I had a few times one of my house moms who was a really good cook would order, it's going to be a crazy day tomorrow, all the sports or whatever, so we're going to order from the meal bus, where she'd like look at it and be like, absolutely not, we're not eating that, and just like toss it in the trash and figure it out.
Wow.
So
Was it like heat and eat? Like you would just heat it up, or
it came hot.
It came
in like these huge silver sternal containers that like literally they would just, and those silver things were inside these big brown boxes that had handles on them, like plastic ones, and they would just like drop it in the mudroom.
So, as being in the Army, I've seen a lot of that. That's actually how we used to get our food delivered to us, but I have a feeling that the taste of the Army food was not nearly as good as you all's.
I imagine you're correct. I think we were lucky to have really good food. And I mean, I think no matter who you would talk to about this, everyone's going to have their own opinions about it, obviously. But I would say 9 times out of 10, the meals that I ate were really good. I enjoyed them. I come from like a Latin background, so I'm used to eating very good food.
Right.
And so, I mean, obviously, it was a bit of a curve when I first started there because not every house parent is a food seasoner.
Right.
But I had house parents who were like, I had house parents from Trinidad and Tobago who had to cut down their seasoning for some of our students. So it was really just depended on who you had, really.
Right.
Really.
So, all right. So we get into the food. Did you ever have like a large meal, like with the whole school, or it was always just the house meals? Because I'm just thinking about Gerard. We have our, basically the entire high school eating together, or the entire middle school eating together. Was there any special event meals?
Lunch?
Yeah, I was gonna say lunch would have to be like during school time.
Kinda,
so you'd have
though.
to, but it would be different periods, right?
Yeah,
kind of like public school, where they have select times where they go to eat for their lunch.
Kind of. All of our facilities are also like significantly larger,
Mhm.
and then we're spread out over like a pretty huge campus. So like
Yeah.
the elementary school is completely different area than like the middle school was, and separate area from even where the high school was. So
Okay.
we would eat in kind of the grade levels or whatever it was. But yeah, our cafeteria was massive, and it was. It always breaks my little heart when I were to go to Gerard and eat lunch at Gerard, because at Hershey we had like a full spread buffet, like 5 different buffet lines, where there were like
Buffets.
a pasta line, a salad line with like all the toppings you can imagine. We had a dessert space, and then we had like a main, like whatever it was that day.
You just depress me more and more.
I mean, I guess in the defense of the school, literally everyone on campus is eating the same food, right? So, like,
Okay.
the president of the school is not about to be like, I'm going to order off campus. No, he's going to eat the food that is there.
Okay.
And so he wasn't going to settle for something that was going to make him sick. So it just, I don't know, I guess literally like security, you'd see security in the lunchroom sometimes. You'd see like the IT guys right at the table right next to you. So it made sense because they were feeding everyone.
Yeah. Okay.
So I do have 2 questions. First, I find it interesting that they were called house parents, which is what
We used
called
to
them.
call
Yeah,
them.
we
Yeah.
used to call them. It wasn't RAs. So I have 2 questions. One, where did the food come from? Did the house parents have to go shopping? And were you guys allowed to ask, like, yo, I want some, cookies and cream Pop-Tarts? Like, could you ask for specific things to have? And then the second thing that I still can't wrap my mind around is, how do you hire somebody to take care of kids and they can't cook? Like, there has to be like some level, like you're hiring these people to watch and raise kids. So I'm just curious about those. I know you can't answer the second one because it's just that is what it is. But I just find it interesting that Hershey did not like vet that process. Like, now cook spaghetti or just something so you can feed 8 people or 10 people, whoever how many kids were in the house.
Well, we actually had our own grocery store on campus.
Grocery store on campus. Please explain how that worked.
We walked to Fairmount Market for some chumpies.
No, we had a grocery store that literally had like a parking lot, had carts and everything.
Wow.
So you could order like from there, but also you get food deliveries in through the meal bus. Yeah, we could make special requests. That brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts were always a fave.
Oh, they are to go to.
That was-
Still, yeah.
But everything was in like much larger sizes.
Okay.
Like,
It's like Costco,
institutional.
then.
Exactly. Everything
Okay.
was like that.
It'd have to be.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. Like, they offered different types of toiletries. So like if you used Secret deodorant or Shore deodorant, you could just you could ask which one.
You see. Every time we talk to this woman, we find out one new horrible thing.
Speed stick.
That's all we had. One choice of deodorant, one choice of soap, one choice of lotion. Everything was a singular choice.
One
I don't know.
big
Maybe
giant-
is it a little different now?
One giant jar of Eucerin.
One giant jar.
Community jar of Eucerin.
Oh, yeah. This is.
I'm sorry.
I mean, you didn't do this. We just find
Yeah,
this
no,
stuff
that was
out.
definitely not like we got to choose scents and everything. So like we had Herbal Essences shampoo back then, and it was like, you want the rose or do you want the chamomile? Like, oh, okay.
This
Yeah.
is every time I feel
Yeah.
more and more enlightened, more and more sad, and
Sorry.
more and more disappointed that Hershey said I wasn't good enough.
Did they give you a reason in the rejection letter?
No, no reason.
I don't know that they legally can.
Yeah, they're
right?
just like, your child was not accepted. Now, I ain't gonna lie, and we can talk about this. I thought that was a good thing for me because I was like, oh, now, see, I want to go home every weekend. I want to go home. But you all had plenty of activities to do.
Definitely.
Go ahead, talk about some of that. Make me feel a little bit worse.
I feel like every time I talk to a Gerardian about Hershey, if it's a little bit of bragging, but like even if I'm not trying to brag, so
Brag away, please.
But I'm about to. So yeah, it really depended on. So I think an important distinction about Hershey is that it's 365, so it never closes.
Right.
Because the assumption is that there's a good amount of the population that has nowhere else to go. Like there are plenty of kids that are like wards of the state or foster youth, and so there was nowhere else for them aside from Hershey. Some of them, like their sponsors, are literally like judges. So
Okay.
the judge is not about to show up at the door and come pick you up.
Right.
So they make sure that like the year-round experience there is something enjoyable. And so it really kind of just depended. But like when I was there, you were only allowed to go home for the breaks, which included the Thanksgiving break, the Christmas break, Easter break, and summer. And summer changed a lot. So like my first year there, summer was 12 weeks, and then it went to 10 weeks, and then it went to 8 weeks. So I think they now have either 6 or 8 week summers.
Okay.
But on the weekends that we had to stay there, there's so much to do. Like we'd take trips to the mall, we'd take trips to the movies, bowling, skating. They have an outdoor pool with, I think it's like 3 pools. So they have like a diving pool, a smaller like kiddie pool,
Oh, wow.
and like a pool that has water slides. So I imagine that they get to use that. That was built my senior year, so we were the
Okay.
first people to use it. But it was like the week of graduation. They're like, "Oh, we're doing a senior dip." It wasn't even hot enough yet for us to be in that water, but
You still got a little
they
run
wanted to
in
make
it.
sure that we,
Yeah.
A parting shot. You know,
Exactly.
you won't get this, but give it a shot.
Right.
Test drive it.
Right. So like that was something that we would do. We also had like our facilities were pretty massive, so we'd have something we called rec on the weekends. I can't imagine they allow the same things to happen now that they did then, but we had like the big gym that was always open, and you'd see people like playing basketball or volleyball or double dutch. And then you walk down the hallway, and we had like a dance room is what it was called, but really it was
a
like
club.
it was a club.
Straight up
strobe lights, the disco ball. It had what do you call it? Like booths, the way that you would have like in like a restaurant, booths.
Oh.
Like the walls were booths, and then the center.
Y'all
was
had a
dance
VIP
floor.
up in that joint.
Center
Y'all was
wasn't-
popping
they were
bottles of
prepping us
soda.
for real life, I guess.
Goodness.
But
Wow.
we would play music in there. We were teens, so you already know. Enjoyed ourselves, which is why I can't imagine they still use it. And then just like other areas in that space, like the drama rooms were open. You'd be on stage doing stuff. Yeah, so we had a lot. We had a lot to do. In the summer, that was really where it was at. Like,
Right.
my mom and I used to fight relentlessly because she would be like, "Could you just come home for 1 week this summer?" And I'm like, "Ma'am, I'm riding horses. What do you mean? Come home to do what? To go to the swimming? No, I want to ride horses. I'm over here doing crime scene investigations, like picking maggots off of a dead deer, discovering when this deer died. Like, this is what I want to do, Mom. I'm not coming home." So a lot of my summers I stayed at Hershey, and they had, I want to say, probably like 50 camps every week.
Wow.
Just to divide us all up.
Yeah.
But different focuses. Like, I did do a crime scene investigations one. We had one called Serendipity, and it was just like we did a different thing every day.
Serendipity, baby.
So yes, we did something very different every day. Yeah, there was just a lot of opportunities. They definitely wanted. I think the intention was to expose us to as much as they could. understanding that we all come from these places where most of these things were foreign to us. And so, like, I'm originally from Lancaster, PA, so I've seen horses.
You see a lot of horses out there.
Not in the city, don't do that. But like my grandmother would drive us out to like the farms to go see horses and stuff like that. But like to be able to work on a horse and learn how to like cut their nails and groom them and unfortunately clean up after them, that was like really big and major for like responsibility for us. And the thing about Hershey is they laid responsibility on us really heavy. Like we did a lot of earning.
Yeah. So you were telling us about like you all had like assigned chores in the house, outside the house. Talk about that for us. Oh, and this, I think this is a perfect time to talk about how you got into Slave Brook and did more work. So tell us what Slave Brook is and how that ties into this chores thing.
I'm crying. Now, if my old house mother watches this, she's gonna be like, Alexandra. Like, but I, as well behaved of a child as I was, I got kicked out of my first student home, which was the home that I lived in with my sibling.
Okay.
So I just, because I don't know if we discussed this, and it just as you were talking, I just thought about it. You know, we were separated from the girls at night. Mm-hmm. When you're in a house, is it all girls, or do you have like brothers and sisters?
That's actually a really important question, because at Hershey, when I first started, there were 2 houses still that were co-ed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they were there initially because of exactly that, like a brother and sister starting at Hershey together, wanting them to be in the same house.
Okay.
But I can tell you that when I was there, most of the kids that were left in those houses were not siblings.
Okay.
And at some point during my time there, I think even in middle school, they split those houses up and it went to all same-sex houses.
Okay.
So I'm like 99% sure they're all same-sex now.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to ask that question.
No, it's fine.
Because,
get that in.
Yeah.
Sometimes it pops in. You don't want to forget that for later. So back up to Slave Brook.
I will say we weren't separated far, though. Some houses were like right next to each other.
Oh, Allen and Bordeaux right next to each other.
Merchant and Mariner. When the girls finally took over Merchant.
See, this is not my experience at Girard, so.
Oh yeah, so
they're very separated.
Yeah.
So.
High school was Bordeaux and Allen. All the high school kids, all the girls were in Allen, all the boys were in Bordeaux.
Okay.
And the beauty of having like your window face the girls' windows was that's where you wanted to be.
In the cut. Those buildings.
It wasn't really it was so active back in the 90s. Like it was not cutty as it seems today.
Okay. I promise you now, if you see anybody going that way, people are like, what are they doing?
Okay.
Because there's nothing happening over there.
Yeah.
The president lives back there. That's it.
Yeah. See, the president still lived back there then.
Right,
so you would see them walk by.
Yep.
So, it was a little bit more supervision back
The high
then.
school principal had a house back there too.
The head of education.
Okay.
And the
I
head
know Miss Whedon had a house back there.
but she was I thought she was like the head of like all education or something for a little bit.
She might have. I mean, I think she was only there for a year. I think she bounced there for 1 year.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dean, I thought, moved back there for a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was back there for like 3-4 years, I think.
Mm-hmm. And Saunders lived back there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
Yeah.
we just went a little rabbit hole.
No, you're good, but I actually forget the question.
Slave Brook. How you got there, why it's named that, and your chores.
Oh my goodness. So the name of the I
put you on the spot, I know.
As a very calculated child, intelligent beyond my years.
Mm-hmm.
So I documented every time our house parents did or said something that felt like it was out of pocket to me. So like we had a set of house parents tell my sibling that God didn't love them. And, so I'm like, they said so like stuff like that, or like I had a set of house parents lay their hands on us, and I watched them drag a kindergartner by her hair. I documented the time and date of that, and so I turned in a document of all of the things that happened to us and I will say I had a very unique experience my first year because we went through 5 different sets of house parents. And that had like never been heard of. And people were like, what are y'all doing at that house to make these parents run away? But it wasn't us. But I kept notes, very meticulous notes of everything that was going on, handed them into they were called neighborhood consultants back then, and our houses are broken up into neighborhoods. And so that person oversees all of those houses in that
The
neighborhood.
head house parent.
Basically.
That's what it would be for us. The head house
Essentially,
parent.
yeah. And so I handed in all these documents to her. They called my mom down to the school, and they're like, your kid is a ringleader, and she's having people follow her and doing the things that she's doing. And like, they couldn't give her any actual like
Negative,
actions.
yeah.
Like, what did Alex actually do?
Right.
Oh, she's just the ringleader. Okay, but what are they doing? And well, she handed this document. She's like, so she's just documenting like wrongdoings? And they're just like, well, she can't be here. Like, these kids are too impressionable. She's a ringleader. She's got to go. And so they called her up the day they were moving me.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, my low income parents, my mom's at work.
Yeah, of course.
She doesn't live, like, luckily she lived like 40 minutes from Hershey. But
Right.
like, imagine she was out here in Philly or in New York or DC where a lot of our other friends are from. Like,
Okay.
she runs to the house. I'm like sobbing because I'm like, what do you mean you're kicking me out? Like, what? I didn't actually do anything. Like, what are you talking about? So they sent me to this other student home. The name of the home was Silverbrook. But everybody loved to try to scare me because they're like, nah, that's Slavebrook. We call that Slavebrook. And I'm like, why is it Slavebrook? Like, what do you mean? And they're like, you know, all they do is chores over there. They don't have fun. And I guess, come to find out, it was essentially the reform home. And my house mother was like, if you can't make it here, you're out.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm like, out of the school? Like, I really was not that bad, I promise. Like,
I mean,
it
you
was
did
just
get
my
in
mouth.
trouble
It was
for
my
just
mouth.
being a snitch.
it was my,
You are a snitch, though.
to adults.
Yeah, you snitched on
About the adults,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
about my people.
Yeah, yeah.
That's an important distinction.
Snitching is snitching.
But yeah, so I'm like, so I get sent to this house. It's called Slavebrook as the nickname. I'm terrified. Like, man, they're about to make my life a living hell.
Mm-hmm.
And the very first night I got there, all I did was cry.
Oh.
My house mother had a migraine for like multiple days. And she's like, to this day, is like, you're the reason I had that terrible, terrible migraine. I probably am. But it was rough. It was a rough transition. She was a mother that loved with an iron fist. Like, sis was hard on us. We did chores all the time, like morning to night. I'm telling you, we woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, did our morning chores, which would consist of like an entire space that you were responsible for cleaning because there were so many of us. So like one person had a dining room, one person had a living room. There's 2 living rooms, you know. And in that time, you had to very thoroughly clean up that chore space and your bedroom. So we're dusting daily, that kind of thing. My house father would check the chores while we were eating breakfast and like write his initials in dirt and dust if you didn't. So like after school, oh, you didn't clean your room? Yes, I did. Oh, why are my initials in your dust? And I'm like, are you joking? Is this a joke? So it was tough. It was a tough time there. My house, again, like I later really discovered how much she loved us. And then when I met her mother, I understood why she loved us the way that she did.
Yeah.
Because her mom was also like, I'm going to walk in your house and run my fingers along your fireplace. And like, I'm like, what? My mom, like, yes, I would get in trouble for not cleaning, but like, whew,
Yeah.
I can't imagine like that being the way my mom loved me.
I'm picturing Annie.
That's what it felt like in that house.
The hard knock life.
I'm
We
literally
scrubbed the floors
picturing
on our
my
hands
time
and-
in the army.
We didn't use mops. We scrubbed everything on our hands and knees.
So y'all had to clean your bathrooms, your own bathrooms.
Yes.
Finally found a way that Gerard is better.
Yep.
We never cleaned our own bathrooms because I wasn't cleaning no shitters that y'all shat in. No way.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to think we're clean individuals because it wasn't that bad, I don't think.
Well, I mean,
Well,
maybe
no.
you're forced to be that way. We're just disgusting
Yeah.
humans. So,
When we got
yeah.
to Bordeaux, you had to clean.
Oh
your
yeah,
bathroom.
that's true. We did take turns clean our own bathrooms in Bordeaux, but it was just 4 of us.
Yeah.
4 or less.
Okay.
So
Well, okay. So it depended on your house, and for us, like sometimes it would just be a bathroom that only 4 people used as well.
okay, all right.
But the big like in Silverbrook, the bathroom was just a huge bathroom downstairs, and then a smaller one upstairs that was just toilets
Okay.
and sinks. But yeah, so just lots of chores. Then we had after breakfast chores to like make sure the kitchen was tidied before we left, and then got dressed, came back from school. We had an after school chore.
Okay.
I don't know how the house was getting dirty while we were at school, but you know, dinner chores, so things to get prepped, like setting the table, that kind of stuff. Some kids cooked, some didn't.
Did y'all sit at this just made me wonder? Did y'all sit at one big table to eat, or was it
depended on your
several?
house.
Okay.
So there's a ton of tables that a lot of houses would put all together. Our house did it differently. So sometimes it would be like one long line of tables.
Okay.
Sometimes it would be 6 separate tables. So
Okay.
it's really just depending on what she wanted it to look like that day.
Okay.
But we got the experience of like family dining for
Okay.
real. This also shows like the way that she loved. I didn't grow up with a kitchen table necessarily, so I didn't
right.
have like table manners. So I remember instances where like I would be like full on like eating like this, and I would just get like a slap on the arm, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Elbows down.
Guess my elbow doesn't go there.
Yeah.
So like I remember those types of situations. But yeah, again, like everybody had a very different experience depending on who their house parents were. And again, like mine, I really found out how much she loved us when I like took a step back. And like when big things happened, like when my grandmother died,
Yeah.
my house mother was there for me, and my mom was like calling my mom to be like, hey, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Like, do you need
That's
support?
wild. That's good.
And it's just stuff that you don't see in the moment, maybe.
Yeah.
That like when you take a step back, like I eventually transferred out of that house. Because again, it was a lot. It was a lot of cleaning. I didn't feel very happy. I felt like I was always out of the house because I just couldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had, when you're in an unhappy situation, it will breed unhappiness. So then some of the kids in the house were just like mean to each other in a pretty regular basis.
Of course, yeah.
And it was just like, what the heck? Like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, I genuinely love you guys and I'll fight with you like a sibling, but like y'all are just cruel sometimes.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't want to be around that. Like, move me somewhere different. I ended up going to a student home where they called us the Perry prisoners.
The Perry prisoners?
So, yeah, student home Perry. We called ourselves the Perry prisoners. It was rough also, but for different reasons. But yeah, I think it's very interesting to hear different students' experiences because everyone's are so different. Like some had house parents who, like I said, they called them mom and pop, and they genuinely loved on each other the way that mom and dad would love their own kids.
I've never got to a point. I've respected and loved a lot of house parents, but I was not calling anybody mom or dad.
Mom or dad, yeah.
It just wasn't that
Pig
type of
Buck,
experience.
Papa Dan, Papa Dan, Papa Dan. Yo, man. Papa Dan, wake up, man.
That wasn't going to happen.
No way.
This concludes part 1 of this episode. Please stay tuned next week for the
That
conclusion.
even sunk in right.
So, yeah,